Good afternoon. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. It's beginning to be that time of the year. It's getting cooler outside. Election time is coming up. Holidays are about to come up, and you have family who has an opinion, and they don't necessarily want to keep it to themselves. Okay, so I found this website, which was really nice, and I won't say who sent it to me, okay? It's one of our listeners, and she said, you know what, it gets kind of rough, and I almost dread the holidays because of the people in my family who have such an opinion. And I got news for you. Every family has those, okay? So we all got them. So I have with me right now 13 tips for dealing with family members who have that opinion. Okay, it could be whatever it is. Okay, so fall is quickly approaching. We've mentioned that. Temps are dropping. Days are getting shorter and holidays popping up sooner than you anticipated. Okay, fall means family gatherings, usually with extended family. That includes your opinionated aunt or uncle that never stops pushing their views across the dinner table, while continuing to push for social change and healthy boundaries is at the foremost of our minds. It's unlikely that it is for all other family members. There are a few tips right here on how to keep your cool while still standing up for yourself and your beliefs. This is to your most opinionated family members. Okay, number one, making a no talking about X rule, whatever that X stands for. There's always those few topics that your family members could go on and on about that quickly turn into hostile arguments. Whether researched or not, they could talk on how they feel about this subject for days on end. Not only does this make for boring, repetitive conversation, but it also leads to fights with other family members that don't quite agree with the viewpoint of the family member. At the beginning of the gathering, this is what you need to do. Make it known that no one will be talking about X opinions, okay? You can even make this a game by having someone put money into a jar, and if they bring it up, whoever doesn't have to pay into that jar can take all of the money at the end of the gathering. That ought to do it. Yeah. So if you start talking about, I like blue instead of red, well then you got to put money in a jar and really decide before that on how much money it will be. Okay, so like it's $5 every time you bring that subject up, put it in the jar, and then it's like the whole family will get in on it, and so it could turn into a game. And in that way, you're almost waiting on somebody to slip up. So that's and it will happen. So when that does happen, you're not so aggravated because you're not going to jump on that bandwagon. So you're going to be the smart one in the crowd. Okay, so this makes a rule that's not directed to anyone in particular, but it helps keep people on their feet. No one wants to waste their money on a minute sound bite option. Nobody wants to do that. Remove the emotion behind the topic. Okay, the reason folks get into family fights is emotion. Okay, emotion drives everything. It can be something about what a sibling did to another sibling when they were 5 and 6 years old. It can get that nasty. It can be about your favorite football team, and the other person's, maybe it's a huge rivalry within the state. I mean, it can get like really, really nasty. It can be, politics is even the absolute worst. And I've seen people get down and dirty too about religious topics. So if you find that it's just going to be nothing that it just disrupts the family, again, make it a rule. Cannot do it, okay? All right, so remove the emotion. So what does that mean? Remove the emotion behind the topic. By the way, you can find this on swiftfit.net. Swiftfit.net. This can be difficult, but try to look at your family member as a stranger when they talk about something you disagree with. It's easy to conflate disagreeing on a topic with disagreeing with you as a person. However, if you remove this emotional attachment to the conversation, it just becomes a person sharing their opinion with you. It's the best way to do it. This way you can either swiftly leave the conversation or disagree, knowing you're not endangering the relationship. Treat it like a conversation you'd have in the office with a coworker. You wouldn't want to make the office an uncomfortable place, so don't turn the dining room into a place of discomfort either. Here's what I like to do. So when someone, and usually they're going to try to trigger me, they want to get me started. So here's what I do. I just look them in the eyes and I go, I love you. I don't say anything else. I just say I love you. And I let it go. He who speaks first loses. They're going to say something. I do that to people on Facebook too. And some of you are listening, you watch my show a lot. You know who I'm talking to. I'm just not going to argue. First of all, the whole thing is set up to divide us all. So why? Why the fuss? I mean, why? I have my opinion. You have your opinion. Let it be. Just let it go with that. Both my granddads would sit out on the porch and talk. And one of my granddads was a Republican and one of them was a Democrat. I didn't see them getting into crazy arguments about things. They just didn't. In fact, they wanted to know why the other one voted the other way in a non-confrontational way. I mean, they were just that way. And so I'd like to see us be a little more like that instead of having to ignore and go into another room. That's not fun. This which comes up to the next one. Explore their point of view. What makes them tick? Why are they this way? So look at this conversation from an objective lens. Okay, let's pretend you're a reporter like I am. You're a talk show host. And so you want to know why. I mean, why they do. Don't be ill about it. Don't be mean about it. Just ask a question. Now, some people will get crazy on you, even though if you ask it in a nice way. So you're like a social scientist exploring the brain of a person you would naturally agree with. That's what it comes down to. Ask them open-ended questions and dive into why they feel this way. Just ask the question. And if they try to start an argument, don't argue back. You're the better of the two, okay? You don't argue. It can be interesting to listen to someone that has nothing in common with you. In fact, it can affirm the beliefs you already have if they're going to try to change you over to their side. Or you may find that you actually made a common ground with this person. But if not, it's no loss for you because you were objective with this conversation, right? You did the right thing. Okay, you need to know you won't change their mind. It's just not going to happen. That's why I just don't get into it. There's no point. You can't change someone on anything. So we often get wrapped up in conversations with opinionated family members when we think we can change their mind. Can't do it. When we think we can change their mind, when you go into that conversation knowing that you won't change their mind, the stakes are not lower on your end. Okay, you realize that you're not going to change anybody's mind. Just live with it and deal with it, okay? It's not important that you change their mind. You won't feel the need to correct every point they make, say your stance, or lay down your feelings. Even though you may be coming from a place of education, know that their opinion won't change. And even if it can, that's a once in a blue moon deal. So this is what you do. You pick your battles. That puts the power back into you, okay? Don't sacrifice a nice holiday gathering over a no-win argument. There's no point in it. There's just none. There are family members I just stay away from. It's not because I think I'm better or anything like that. I don't want to get into it with them, and I know it will be an argument, and I just don't want to do it. You can be better. You can be the better person by not arguing. And I will tell you, they will pick, and I'll try to get you to. But you just remember, when you argue back, giving them the power. Okay, so why are they even talking about this? That's another question. Sometimes family members just do want to stir up an argument. They just want to. However, often these controversial conversations start because a person doesn't know what to talk about. It's all they think about. And so they think everybody wants to talk about this stuff. So when they ask you questions that are too personal, give their unsolicited advice, or begin a political discussion, it's often because they're stuck on what to say. Maybe they're shy, they're insecure. The only thing they know about is arguing. The only thing they know, just let them argue with themselves. Just let it go. Again, you're the better person for walking off. Give them an out from the conversation by changing the subject. Ask about their life. People love to talk about themselves anyway. Or bring up a neutral topic. Be the one to give an interesting alternative to talk about aside this something that's going to be nothing but a war. So you've got that power to do that. Okay, I'm going to go on ahead with this one, then we'll go into a commercial break. Use I statements. I statements. So if you don't want to have a conversation with this person any longer, excuse yourself using I statements. Say your grandmother asked yet again why you're single, instead of pushing the blame on her by saying, why are you asking? Or, that's not your place to ask. Use I statements. So this is how it is. Tell them that you've chosen to live your life this way. Say statements like, I don't want to settle down. I don't want to settle down right now. That could be a good answer. Or, I'm not emotionally ready to care for another person. When all else fails, say, I don't want to talk about this right now. And look at them in the eyes when you say it. Let me tell you something about an argumentative person. They don't want you looking. They think if you don't look at them in the eyes that you're weak. Now, it may take some practice because this could be like years and years and years of this torture this person has done to you. So it may take some practice. Look them in the eyes and say, I don't want to talk about this right now. And smile at them while you're saying it. Don't get ill, don't get gruffy, nothing like that. Just look at them and smile and say, I don't want to talk about that right now. That's all you got to do. Don't say another word. They'll be the one to do it. And when they do, you just walk away. You got that right. And it puts the power in your hands and not in their hands. Okay, let's say this lets the family know that it's not something they did to provoke you, but instead your own personal situation that you don't want to have to explain right now. I mean, for goodness sakes, it's a family gathering anyway. Who wants to talk about all that stuff? Let's go into a commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a minute. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took My Pillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented My Pillow to bring you the best pillow in history, My Pillow 2.0. Because of all of you, My Pillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere My Pillows with the same temperature regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of My Pillow. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our My Pillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 My Pillows and 2 Go Anywhere My Pillows. Regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Good afternoon, we're back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you so much for watching Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Central. As I get to ride home with you in the afternoon, if you can't catch me, maybe you're at work, it's just not a good time, you can always find us on all the Facebook pages. If you'll go to facebook.com and just type in /D Fiesel, and you'll be able to find me that way, or just type in Donna's Edge and you'll be able to find me that way as well. You can also find us on the newscasters.com podcast, and also if you would like to send a question, something you just need some information about, you want me to do a little research for you, I love research, so you can go ahead and send an email to Donna at donnasedge.com. That's Donna at donnasedge.com. Okay, now we're talking about how to deal with family members. It's holiday season. It's getting cooler outside. You want to drink some of that hot chocolate, maybe cinnamon spice tea. And it's getting ready, and you're looking around the corner and you go, uh-oh, Thanksgiving is coming up. Uh-oh, Christmas is coming up. We're going to have those family members who like to argue about anything. They just love to argue. They like the power that it brings them. You can take that power away from them. So we've talked about a few things, and let's go ahead and review just for a second. And this is 13 tips for dealing with these family members. So number 1, you can start the X rule. This is a no talking about whatever the subject is rule, okay? It could be like, I like dandelions, and other people don't like dandelions. Well, then we're just not going to talk about dandelions today. So set that rule up. A great one to do is remove the emotion behind the topic, explore their point of view. I like the one where you put a jar on the table, and so the first person who brings up that subject about unicorns or whatever that nobody else wants to talk about, they've got to put money in the jar. Make it $5. So the first one who brings it up. Now, if you argue, you got to put money in there too, okay? So that's the way that needs to be. So Susie brings up the topic of I like unicorns. It's sad nobody else does. And she wants to start an argument. Everybody catches her. Susie's got to put that money in there. Okay, and then Mabel starts to argue right back. Ooh, Mabel, $5 goes into that jar. The person who doesn't argue gets all the money at the end of the day. Okay, I think that would work. Okay, know that you will never change somebody else's mind. If they've got that opinion, they love unicorns, they love it, they believe in them, all that kind of stuff, just let them believe it. You're not going to change their mind, okay? And why are they talking about this? It could be they don't know anything else to talk about, okay? That could be it. Use the I statements. And I thought this one right here was a real good one. And the example was, is someone is asked, why aren't you married? Or why aren't you seeing someone? And you're not in that place to do that. Use the I statements. And say things like, I don't want to settle down right now, or I'm not emotionally ready to care for another person, or when all else fails, you can say, I don't want to talk about this right now. And it's really important looking at them in the eyes, okay? You need to do that. Smile while you're doing it, okay? They'll get the message. And then just gently walk away. Disengage yourself. This is the next one. We haven't talked about this one yet. So, people who like to argue are often looking for an argument, okay? I mean, it's their life. They want you to defend your position and fight against them. Instead, don't give them the satisfaction. You're giving them power when you do that. Remember that. If you don't remember anything else I've said this entire segment, don't give them the power, because they thrive off of the power. Smile and nod. Smile. Look at them now. Smile and nod. And disengage yourself from the topic or the conversation altogether. Soon they'll grow bored of the conversation because they're only talking to themselves, or the lack thereof. They'll move on to the next unsuspecting family member. They'll move on to somebody else. And they'll try to find somebody weak that they can manipulate. Okay, that's another thing you can do is have activities. So if you find that certain family members like to start discussions at the dinner table or around everyone, plan activities to distract from this conversation. It can be easy to change the subject when it's a one-on-one conversation, but opinions can quickly spiral when more people are involved. Plan a game for you to play before dinner, or watch a movie or show before. This way you have something to reference that everyone can relate over and say something about. Also, have the conversation starters in the back of your mind that are engaging and that are about neutral topics. Ask everyone to go around the table and say their favorite place they've traveled to, for instance. This allows everyone to have their own chance to speak, and soon conversation will organically branch off from this conversation starter. Okay? Turn it into a positive situation. Okay, you're thinking right now, Donna, how in the world is that ever going to happen? It can. When the conversation starts to get bogged down to negativity, turn it around and into a positive topic. Have a few ready to go, okay? Because you know it's going to start. It always starts with this particular person especially. Okay? Think of positive news items. Positive news, if you can find one, positive news items that have happened to you recently, or news you've heard about that pertains to them or your family in general. This positive spin on things will calm their need to argue down and give you a much more relaxing conversation. I'll tell you one that I've used before is Christmas movies. And just talk about, when you were a kid, what was your favorite Christmas movie? And then people, I don't know, they start kind of getting into a better mood when you talk about that. They start thinking about when they were a kid. They liked Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It could be, the snowman. It could be, there's different things. Elf is one I love to watch. That wasn't when I was a kid. That's in recent years. But if you can get people to start talking about what their favorite Christmas gift was. What was the most surprising Christmas gift they got when they were a kid? Just topics like that. Just try to change it. Try to change it into more positive things. Maybe you'll put them back into a better mood of when they were a kid. Let's see. It's much more relaxing, I'm telling you that. Say thank you. A short sentence of an answer that ends with a thank you is a polite and direct way to end a conversation. So somebody says, I like unicorns. Why don't you like unicorns? Just say thank you. You'd be amazed at what that can do. So what it does is it neutralizes the situation, and it clearly lets the person know you don't feel like talking about this subject any longer. You're going to startle them, because what they're probably used to is you arguing back. You're trying to argue your point across, and you know what? They're not even listening to you. They're only thinking about what they want to say back. So it's going to be a bunch of nonsense. It's an assertive statement that lets the family member know that you don't want to have that discussion any further. You need to say it in a firm tone. You need to look at them, and you need to smile while you're saying it as well. If they continue on, just keep repeating it. Thank you. They'll eventually get the hint and move on from one conversation to another. Now, bring in another person. Sometimes you got to do that. If you get stuck in this back and forth conversation with a relative that seems like it's going absolutely nowhere, bring in another person. Say something about the relative you're bringing in and call them over. Have a third person there immediately changes the dynamic, okay? Because some of these folks, it's hard for them to talk with more than one person around, okay? So you're taking that power away from them again. Before, the relative may have felt this was a fight to see whose opinion could win out. Now, that dynamic has changed with the addition of another person. Since the dynamic has changed, the topic at hand is likely to change as well. All of this will happen very organically as you bring that new person into the mix. Now, keep your distance. If you know what family members irk you and push your buttons every gathering, simply avoid them. They're just not worth it. Keep up conversation with the people you get along with and stay close to them. Avoid getting too close to this opinionated family member and getting trapped into their conversations, because that's what they're there for. This doesn't mean that you're obviously running away from their advances. Instead, if you stay far enough away, they probably won't make the effort to approach you. Now, with these folks, these relatives who are opinionated, they talk to whoever is closest to them. They often won't seek you out specifically to vent on. Now, another thing you need to do is be direct. If all else fails, and this family member won't let the conversation die down, be direct. Take the power away from them, okay? Let them know that you will not tolerate aggressive and or hostile conversation and would much rather engage in positive conversations. Say thank you again and swiftly leave the conversation. Thank you. And just leave. And also, to end this, good luck. At the end of the day, it's your choice on how you want to deal with these family members. Trust your gut and know that the holidays will soon be over. Hopefully these tips will help. I hope it does. I really do. Some of these I'm going to use too. I'll let you know how it turns out. So, I mean, every family has one, at least one. And they have to be around the part of the family. So, I mean, they have to come around, but you don't have to deal with it. You don't have to let it ruin your holiday. So don't let it ruin your holiday. Remember, that power is with you. My name is Donna. Thank you so much for watching The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundant Television. We're syndicated there, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Check out the podcast, thenetcasters.com. And if you have any more questions or any more topics you'd love for me to cover, like this one right here, you can send an email to donna@donnasedge.com. donna@donnasedge.com. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And remember, it's up to you what mood you're in.